And that's Toby Keith right there. Should have been a cowboy. 92.5 The Bear, Scott and Charlie. It's High Octane Radio. And we are still sitting in here with our lovely guest, and we're going through the story of her two grandchildren and how we can get them back. And we're talking about a little bit about what's going on and a little bit about what's going on with the daughter. And I think, Charlie, Charlie was getting to where we were talking about now getting to the kids, right? So when we're talking about getting to the kids, Charlie?
Yeah, we're getting around to the kids, but I do know that it needs to be, okay. All right, Scott's got it. All right, so anyway, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Scott and Charlie at High Octane Radio. Vicki Bond's here with me, and, of course, we're talking about two boys that are involved in the whatever type of children and family services that they call up there in California, okay? The mom is at home with you, right, Vicki? All right, the mom's at home with you?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
They taught me into bringing her back.
Okay, so now let's do this. Now, the mom is home with you, and the boys are in California. And the reason why we have you here is we were talking about an event, a fundraising event that's happening for Anthony and Francisco, a.k.a. Paco and Tony.
Well, if you don't mind, let me interject there, because the mother is at home with her, but the mother is now on the phone with us.
Okay, all right, so mom's there. Celeste, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, appreciate you listening and calling in. How are we doing so far telling your story?
Well, yeah.
Okay,
I
so
just
far,
want it out there because I want my babies home.
I know you do, and we're trying to, bring light to the subject and let some people know what's going on. Now, we were just talking about your mom's here, and I know she has a hard time with the story, but she's here, and we were talking about Tony and Paco. How old are they now?
They're 9 and 13.
All right, 9 and 13, okay? And at first, between the first one was born and then the second one was born, of course, she's talked about the, how you were abused at the hands of this man that we'll call Primo, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then between the first birth and the second birth, you were, in Mexico with him and his family.
Yes, sir.
Now, what took you to Mexico with him? At that time, were you married?
At that time, we did get married. We got married right before President Bush, when was going to change the law. There was a 97 law about welfare reform. And so I married him to try to fix his papers under that law, but he beat me up a few days before the deadline. So I ended up in the ICU and operated on, so we didn't get to do that. And then I didn't get to try to fix his paper until, well, actually it was Clinton that changed that law, and then Bush got in and made another law, and we tried to get his papers, but we couldn't because I later found out he was really, really a bad guy, and he was wanted for things that I didn't have a clue about.
All right, so it seems like it's getting worse as we go here,
Well, yeah, and then I ended up going to Mexico with him because I had PDD. It's a form of high autism, and back in the 70s, people didn't really know that much about it. So I didn't really get the help that I needed, and there was a lot of problems at home because my mama didn't understand me, and, well, I'm different, I didn't understand her. So I ended up going to Mexico with him, which was really stupid because Investigator Brock tried to warn me, but you know how teenagers are. We're real stubborn, and we think we know it all. So I went with him, and just like he said, he almost killed me. And I ended up, I started becoming paralyzed, and I flew in to Grady Hospital, and I got where I couldn't move nothing but my eyeballs. And then he continued to mistreat me while I was paralyzed, and he impregnated me. And then I had my baby, who has some problems. Not really health problems, but developmental problems.
Developmental problems?
Yeah.
Developmentally delayed?
Yeah, well, that some of it comes from because it's hereditary, because I had some. But actually, it's some organs that didn't develop, and he had to be operated. But other than that, he was fine until he took off with my kids.
So he came back to be with you here at home?
Yes, and we lived, and he was wanted, which was really stupid, I know. We lived with him wanted, and then it ended up, I tried to tell one time, but because of what he did and who he did it for, he got special treatment when we moved off, because we had to move off because I can guarantee you between Sheriff Cantrell and D. Stewart, they wouldn't have them here living with me, beating on me, so we had to move off. But because of relationships he had where we moved off to, he got sort of special treatment.
Where'd you move off to?
Well, you really want me to say, because it's really close.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying you moved off because
he was wanted. We moved to Carrollton.
You moved from where? You moved from Griffin to Carrollton?
Yes, sir.
So from Spalding County to Carrollton.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, you know, he had people that he knew and friends and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and he was doing some stuff that he wasn't supposed to be doing.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, these are kind of things that are important to find out. But in all honesty, I mean, we're going to have Mom back on a couple times previous to this January 13th
so you don't
or
mind
June.
Me telling, well, my husband supplied illegal workers for some builders around here.
Okay. So he was involved in that, right?
Yeah. And we, you know, they took cars for the Mexican back home, and I actually drove them, but I didn't realize that that was illegal. I thought I was just helping Mexicans get the car home.
Right, exactly.
So
you're an innocent bystander, but I know it seems to me that so far we set up the picture and painted the picture here with, I know you're home with your mom. These boys are involved in the Children and Family Services program, which I don't know the name of, but they're in California, you know, at this time. And the motorcycle ride, a poker run that we're having on Saturday, June 13th,
it's to get them home.
Is to help pay for legal fees to get them home, which is going to be an enormous amount. But and from what I've heard so far, and we want to take it on the next visit in, take it to the next level, okay?
Okay, well, what happened was I got smart, because with PDD, it's not like being retarded. You just takes you longer to grow up. And as I got smarter, I realized I needed to listen to Investigator Brock and get away from this man. He's a lunatic. So he takes off with my kids. Well, I go find them. It took me 2 years, but I found them. And I get them out one by one to the border. But when I ask for help, the Child Protective Services is what they call in California, they said they had to investigate. So they call the judge that's involved with my husband's illegal activity and him. And, of course, they say that it's not true, they say that we're all delusional. So they take custody of me and my kids, and they start treating us for delusions with all these antipsychotic drugs, and that's how come my kids have a lot of problems now, and they will not come off of it.
Well, how they know? Did they do any medical diagnostic or any kind of, you know, fielding any kind of testing or anything like that to verify this?
No, they wouldn't allow me to have any evidence, like my mama flew in birth certificates, because they say I got 4 delusions. My delusion is that I was born in America, that I was raised by non-Hispanics, that, help me out, Mom, what was it? That
Like English instead of Spanish.
Okay,
is your
and
first
that
language.
Actually, you got the court papers there, don't you?
I do, but
well, now I mean, and there's probably seems like you know that this is over to this point right now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and break for right now. Okay.
Okay.
We don't want to go any further in the story other than you're in California and you're incarcerated with your children and being treated without any form of testing or diagnostics or anything else for being delusional. Okay, and they're giving you all kinds of drugs, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's stop there because I want to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to finish this up and fill in the blanks here in this one section of the story. And then Vicki and Celeste, you guys are going to come back on, you know, sometime next week, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's take a break, and then we're going to come back. So hold on to the phone. Don't hang up.
Okay.
All right, it's Scott and Charlie. It's High Octane Radio, and we've got Celeste and Vicki in here, and we want to try to get Paco and Tony home right here on 92.5 The Bear.